Why don't we jump right into our headline topic, which I completely forget what it is. Right, Discord. I have to change my name.
Yeah, me too, I guess.
This is written. Okay, let's go through the facts
mad
first.
Frenzy.
Okay, our original article here is from The Verge, but also from Discord themselves. This is not fake news. Discord usernames will be evolving. So instead of Phoebe, hashtag 8936, Phoebe probably.
Pretty sure.
Now we're going to be Phoebe, handle at Phoebe is cool, because you are obviously not going to get at Phoebe, which I think the idea here is that it's going to make usernames easier to share. But we know from experience, right?
The people just camp them and stuff. Every creator's name is just going to be gone.
Yeah, up to literally thousands of numbers after it. I mean, I learned this way back when having a good @hotmail.com email address was a mark of being kind of cool and with it.
Oh, yeah.
I was cool and with it. And then the same thing happened with Gmail. And then the same thing happened with Twitter. And now they're saying, that seems like a good system.
Let's follow those guys.
We solved that before, but let's unsolve it. Let's go back to the just at and a string of characters. So in theory, I kind of see where they're coming from, because as a brand new user, there are certain aspects of Discord's user interface and user experience.
He struggles with it so much. He can literally barely use Discord. It's actually very weird, because you're usually very good and nimble in different user interfaces, and you hit Discord, it's just like...
There are certain things I do find incredibly confusing, like the fact that all of your individual chats are like
mixed in with the servers and stuff.
It took me a little while to kind of wrap my brain around it, but you haven't seen me try to use Discord in quite some time. I'm fairly proficient these days.
Oh, okay.
And one of the things that was a little bit confusing for me was the hashtag numbers, because I didn't, coming into it completely cold, not looking up at how to Discord guide and not really having anyone show me how. I was just sitting there trying to like set it up, because I think the main reason...
You needed a tech tip.
No, I think the reason I got it first was because we added a Discord. Like Jake created the LTT Discord.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, I should probably...
Guess I should finally use this.
Have an account or something. I hadn't really gamed with friends in a very long time, like since I used Mumble with my group of friends. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, this newfangled
especially
Discord.
when the kids were quite young, you were pretty...
Oh yeah, they weren't touching it yet.
Yeah, and you were offline.
Yeah, I showed them how to use Discord. Like that came way later.
Yeah.
And so this hashtag number thing was actually a little bit confusing. And unless you're copy pasting, it's a little bit harder to remember. I mean, obviously, it's not nearly as hard as remembering your ICQ number back in the day.
Yeah, fair enough. But like, I don't know my numbers on Discord.
But then here's the thing. If the intent here is to make things more shareable, make them easier to understand, we know that users are going to fill their ats with special characters and with numbers anyway. And we know that remembering a 4-digit number is not actually a huge problem.
And you can individually change your nickname on every server and every chat anyways.
I mean,
so just knowing someone's name isn't going to matter.
Phone numbers here in the Lower Mainland used to be 7 numbers. Do you know your first 7-digit phone number that you ever had, like your home phone?
Yes.
Addresses, street addresses, are 5 numeric digits here. Do you remember the 4 to 5 number? Okay.
Yeah.
This is not a huge problem. And, okay, again, I haven't even gone through the facts here, but one of the things that I've seen, at least speculated, we'll get into facts in a second. For now, I'm just angry. I'm not even angry. I'm just...
Like, why?
Yeah. Why? I'm asking why.
Yeah.
And so one of the... What's a fact here is that it's not that hard, and it's not an unreasonable expectation, and it's not a new thing to expect people to remember a 4-digit number, and that's perfectly fine. And so the fact that you're now changing it is going to sow a lot of discord.
Very good. Ding.
On the platform.
Oh, too late. Hey!
All seemingly in the name of making it more user-friendly in a way that, quite honestly, if I go back even further, as a non-user of the system, I found extremely confusing when I first got set up on Twitter. Whenever I would read a tweet, I would read the at symbol as at. So when I'm reading along and it's like, hey, at Luke, I something. That's how I would read it. I came into Twitter pretty late as well. Anyway, let's see what their rationale is.
Really?
Oh yeah, super late. I basically ignored it. I was like, I don't feel like dealing with this.
You were definitely on Twitter in 2012.
Yes.
Because our first back and forth direct message interaction is hilarious.
I don't remember this.
Don't read it.
Why?
Read it later.
Okay, sure. I don't know. Joined November 2011. When did Twitter start? 2006.
Whoa.
Right?
Okay, but did like anyone use it at that time?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah. So it's really funny because I think the only reason I started Twitter, and the timing seems about right. Wait, was 2011? Yeah, it would have been when the LTT channel was starting to kind of gain some momentum, and I was looking at it going like, I should probably have some kind of presence online other than this. And it was probably around the time that NCIX was starting to build up a Twitter presence because all of a sudden companies being on social media was a thing, so that you could respond to people, generating hate storms, complaining about you and that sort of thing, which is still what it's used for today, which is fantastic. Okay, so let's go through the facts here now that I've talked through how sort of flabbergasting I'm finding this. I don't know if that's a word. Discord has announced it will be changing its current username system, which uses a 4-digit tag to differentiate users with the same name. This likely means that many users will have to change their usernames due to possible duplication. And, okay, in fairness, this is another thing that is a little bit confusing about the 4-digit numbers, is that when you are searching for someone, if you don't have their digits, it can bring up a lot of garbage results. And that's valid. The company will prioritize longtime users in line for name changes, and users will still be able to use a non-unique screen name in addition to their username. Discord noted that while the original system was created to allow users to use whatever name they wanted, the tag system was often too complicated or obscure to remember, causing confusion and unnecessary difficulty finding other users. Now, this is huge. This is a really important note in our notes here. Of course, many current Discord users do not necessarily want to be easy to find. This is so huge. On the one hand, I can see how people having Mr. Beast, hashtag whatever random numbers can lead to impersonation on the platform. I can see how that would be a concern. On the other hand, for the real Mr. Beast, if he just wants his Discord username to be Mr. Beast and not really worry about people finding him that easily, then he can just be at Mr. Beast. And only people who know the correct 4 digits are going to be able to add him unless they want to just try to add every Mr. Beast. And I can tell you, if you randomly add Jimmy on Discord, he's not going to add you. In fact, I think I had to ping him like 3 or 4 times via other means. Be like, hey, add me. Another reason for the change is to make Discord's username system more similar to what users are already familiar with, namely from other social networks, especially Twitter. So our discussion question here, because I think I've done all the talking and Luke has not really contributed his thoughts too much, is what is the advantage of becoming more like other social platforms here? Is this just them chasing broader user base so that they can continue justifying outside investment by showing growth? Or what are we looking at here exactly?
I think, honestly, what would you do with Discord if you owned Discord?
I would figure out how to just make it profitable month over month, and I would enjoy just being the top voice chat thing for gamers and a lot of non-gamers on the entire internet. I think that if I had to try to expand outside of the gaming crowd, there is there are much lower hanging fruit, or rather much more important steps that I could take than changing our username system. And what I would probably want to do is I would probably want to fork the platform. So I would take Discord as it is, and then I would leave it pretty much as it is, with meme loading screens and silly, cute little pig characters or whatever they are. And I would leave a well-established username system. All the cool things that are great about Discord, streamer mode, stuff like that. I would leave that exactly as it is, and then I would take all of the underlying code, all the backend, and I would reskin it as Discord Pro, or probably just something else entirely, and I'd create a professional product that is more designed for getting your grandma set up on. So something a little bit more streamlined, where I would borrow from, maybe the earlier days of Skype, for example, in terms of functionality and in terms of interface, but have the whole thing run on the same back end, because they've done a great job. Discord is almost never down, right? The voice quality is really good, considering that it's a free service. That's another thing, is when I create my premium or my professional product or whatever else it is, I'd want to figure out how to make it paid in some way. I'd want to try and generate revenue from it. The way that you can screen share on Discord, just with very low latency, super cool. I mean, it'd be great for all kinds of other uses, be it business meetings or calling overseas relatives or wherever. It's just a great VoIP platform.
I honestly find it a lot more generally usable than something like Slack or Teams, but it lacks some specific team-based features. So
Sure.
Yeah, if they had more of a bit of a feature rollout for mostly managing users,
Sure,
in a corporate sense. But other than that, the channel creation, I prefer Discord's channel creation and category creation compared to Teams or Slack.
Oh yeah, Teams.
By a lot.
Yep.
Okay, so you're upset about Teams. On Slack, I can't create categories for people.
Really?
I can make private channels so they don't see them, and then I can invite specific teams or specific people to the private channels.
So it's
but
just
other than that,
tedious for no reason.
Yes.
So as an admin, you can't just say, hey,
I've
all of
organized
you work
everything
on
for you.
front end. I put you all in here.
Well,
Go.
no. So you can to a certain degree. If you make every single channel private,
Ugh.
and then you only invite certain teams
Right,
to
but
them,
if you just want to have the channels and it's just in a channel list,
Then
and then you want to
it's
go,
just-
okay, you, and you, and you.
then no matter what, it's just a category called channels, and it's all the dump of all the channels that you're in. And then you, as the individual user, need to create categories and sort them like that. Maybe someone has found a way around this. The last time that I tried to figure this out, the official answer online was yeah, it's up to the individual user. It's great. Everyone can organize it the way they want. I'm like, no,
Because
no one has ever asked for that.
people, well, no, users might. The problem is, and I'm sure that Luke and Dan can speak to this, users will not organize it well.
Yeah.
They will do it wrong.
Yeah.
No offense, users. But I know that you guys have experienced people coming up with their own systems for organizing passwords, for example, as you've been going through and doing the audit. Did they do a good job?
No. Not even slightly. It's actually stunning. How many individual days go by where there is at least one thing that we find that is just holy crap. How did this possibly happen? It's kind of wild.
And we love our team. World class.
I feel, and I could be completely wrong, and maybe I'm a big dum-dum. I feel like it's a PM that's just trying to make a splash.
Really? The Discord thing?
What's the point? Does anyone really complain about the numbers?
I found it confusing at first.
And they did say, the argument that I saw, I don't know if it was technically from them or not, so I shouldn't say they did say. But the argument that I saw was that they are trying to fall in line with the average setup that other platforms do, which seems mostly true. That is mostly what other platforms do, right? I think so.
Sort of. I don't think Facebook has an @. And Facebook
@
is, an @ username.
Okay, to be completely honest, I didn't even realize they were adding the at the front.
Yeah.
That is weird. I meant like the number system
why?
after the name. Yeah, that's odd. Seems completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Man, displaying that all the time is just going to look so stupid.
It looks stupid on Twitter. It always looked stupid on Twitter. We just got used to it. So we're adopting an arbitrary, meaningless symbol thing to replace our arbitrary, meaningless number thing that goes along with your username. Why?
Wow, I'm so much more against this now. I knew you were talking about the at earlier, but I thought you were just like off topic.
No.
Wow, why? It's useless. It doesn't provide any value. If every single user has it, then what's the point?
This is great. So people are saying, look, the handles are going to be hidden in the same way that the numbers are now. It's just going to show your display name, which is fine because it is going to just not matter now in the same way that it just didn't matter already. And the amount of man, remember when we migrated Floatplane from the forum to the dedicated site?
Yes.
Asking a user to go into their account and do anything, you might as well ask them to move the moon for you. And I don't mean that users are bad people or they're lazy. I just mean they have a life and they have other stuff to do. And for a lot of people, going in and micromanaging their profile and picking usernames is not real high up on their list of cool, fun things that I want to do when I've got 45 minutes of earned game time because I played piano and it's time to play games. That's not real high up on their list of what they want to do. They want to open their game and start playing. It's like,
I'm going to build this tree hut in Minecraft, okay? I played an hour and 45 minutes or whatever. What did you say? You have 45 minutes of game time? So I played an hour and a half of piano. I deserve to cut this tree down with Bob.
Yeah, so it's really frustrating. It's just kind of stupid. And I don't understand why. And I think we can just move on.